Hello, fellow old men, fellow kids, humans, Xenos.
Heretics.
Welcome back, heretics. Welcome back to the No Games for Old Men mini-series, or maybe not a mini-series. We'll see how
Might be
long
a
this
maxi
goes.
series.
Might be. Which was, of course, inspired by Arbiter Ian and a series in White Dwarf magazine, wherein I, Dan, and you, Curtis, are going to paint what do you call it, a war band?
Actually, it's a kill team.
War band is Necromunda, right?
That's a gang.
Whatever, we're going to be a kill team using the 2021 Warhammer 40k Kill Team box set. Before we get started in the discussion, what's in your goblet?
So in keeping with the tradition of drinking local breweries, I am drinking. No,
Can't see that. Cannot see. Put it in front of your face.
Yep, there we go.
Nakashi.
Total Domination Northwest IPA.
Total Domination. Oh,
yeah,
this
is a recent.
here.
I'm trying to. It's an India Pale Ale. It's got pine, grapefruit, and bitter notes. And this is super popular in the grocery store right now. And I've seen it a lot. It's what they have instead of Pacific Rain. And I have not tried it yet.
But this is your first sip. Oh, yeah. We'll do it. Have at it. Drinking from the bottle, is that the recommended from the manufacturer method, or is that just your preferred?
That's my preferred method.
Oh, okay.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. I normally don't drink India Pale Ales or IPAs. They're not my first choice. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I do end up drinking IPAs all the time. But that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really. It's got some stats on here. The alcohol by volume is 6.7%.
Okay.
And the bitterness is rated as an 81.
So a little hoppy, but not too bad.
Yeah, and I like hoppy beers, so this actually works pretty well for me. This is a summer drink. This just a second. Yeah, see, this would be really good with like a bacon cheeseburger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I might be feeling a little bit something similar to you. This is not quite local to me, but it is within 3-hour driving distance. I am having Stone Brewing. Stone is in San Diego. I'm in the LA area, but it is FML, Fear Movie Lions, Hazy Double IPA. This is 8.5% alcohol.
Oh my Lord.
I don't see an IBU listed. They do say that they're Laurel and Mosaic hops, and flavor notes should be tropical punch, berry, and peach. We'll see. And I've never had this. I've never had this either.
Look at that color, though.
Look at that. Yeah, it's like brass and rose.
Yeah.
Color mixture. It looks
like the color a beer would be in like a 90s music video.
It's just it smells great.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed about this too.
Okay, so that is a bit hoppy, but mostly it's flowers, man. I mean, this is just I don't want to say perfumey because you don't drink perfume, but it tastes like what I might think some perfumes might taste like if they had a flavor that you were supposed to actually taste.
Is it as easy to drink as the beer you had when you were doing your cleanup of their paint station?
No, that was a Golden Road, one of the carts, mango cart maybe, or guava cart. I know it wasn't melon cart because that was the one I couldn't figure out. I couldn't remember.
Right.
But those are super easy to drink, just very fruit forward. This one, there's enough hops in it that if you are unfamiliar or offended by hoppy beers, you're not going to drink this. Whereas I think anybody could probably drink a Golden Road fruit cart beer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would not say that this is an easy to drink beer for everybody. If you like IPAs, sure, but it's also 8.5% alcohol. So you might have two, and then you should probably take a break.
So by the end of our update video today, we might both be in a pretty decent way.
We'll see. To remind everybody, you have chosen the Gene Stealer Cult's kill team.
Correct. And this is specifically the Wormblade kill team as seen in White Dwarf, recent White Dwarf. I think it was 473.
Okay. Yeah. So what's that all about? What's your progress?
So the Wormblade kill team is a refined version of the Gene Stealer Cult kill team that was originally released in the first starter box for Kill Team 18. And then there was a compendium version of the kill team. But the Wormblade is a more specific style, just like how, you know, the Tau version of the compendium was eventually refined in the Chalneth book. The Wormblade kill team is a refined version of that original kill team. So in mine, there are 13 models, and 3 of them are characters, as I look over here, which you can't see.
Wow.
And I have completed 4 of them.
Okay.
4 out of 13. I have 9 left, and I've been making decent progress on number 5.
Okay.
So I don't think.
What is that weapon that?
This is a sonic cannon, a seismic cannon. Okay. So it's
seismic cannon.
Seismic cannon. It's used. So the Gene Stealer Cult in modern 40K. You know, history lesson.
Okay.
Gene Stealer cults have been a part of the 40K lore since the beginning. And especially in 2nd edition, back in Citadel Journal, which was an extra magazine that had like fan-made and like unofficial rules for characters and armies and things like that. That's where we got the original Adeptus Arbites armies. That's where we got a full, like the first full Gene Stealer cult list. And the Gene Stealer cults have always been these underground rebel armies that invade a planet, get integrated into the highest levels of society and government, and then one day they rise up to take over the planet and make it ready for the Tyranid swarm to come devour the planet.
Because the Gene Stealer cult they have been implanted with Tyranid like spore and such, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
So a Gene Stealer will,
but they look human, most of them, right?
Kind of, sort of.
That's how they integrate into society.
Yeah, a Gene Stealer will come to a planet, usually as part of a space Hulk or a crashed meteor or something like that. And what it will do is it will start kidnapping people. And it, like Alien, it goes into your throat and then deposits Gene Stealer DNA. And the original Gene Stealer that first lands on a planet, the more people it infects, the more psychic energy it picks up, because it kind of hypnotizes everybody that it infects to see it as a father figure, which is why it's a patriarch. The more people that get infected, the more psychic energy it draws in, the bigger that first Gene Stealer gets, and they become known as something called a Gene Stealer patriarch. And it becomes super psychic, and it becomes a beacon letting the Tyranid Hive Fleet know we've got all this biomass here on the planet, and when it reaches a certain breaking point,
raise the dinner bell.
Exactly. But as this is happening, so this takes generations. This is not a quick thing. This is 30, 50, 60, 100 years of just growing out. So
wow,
every infected person is compelled to generate more followers for the cult. And so what they'll do is they will go out and they'll, create churches around the 4-armed emperor and the coming of the Star Children, and that's what they're preparing for.
Yeah.
And so as they reproduce, as they have normal human sex, the children that are born are hybrids. So they come out looking kind of more gene stealer than human. So
Ooh.
they have like an extra arm, and they'll have like ridges on their heads, and their skin tone will be like purple or blue. But because of the hypnotic power of the patriarch and the fact that they're all mentally connected in like a Gestalt consciousness, they don't acknowledge. They're just like, oh, my beautiful baby. And it's like, eventually, like the third generation looks almost indistinguishable to other humans. They're just extremely charismatic and can hypnotize people on their own. So they become like politicians and like planetary governors and like high-ranking generals. But then the last generation are pure strain G-stealers. So like by the fourth and fifth generation of people reproducing, all of a sudden, women are giving birth to straight up pure strain G-stealers who are then like going out into the community and starting murder rampages or bringing other people in, or just raising all kinds of hell. And like I said, the more people that are born to the gene stealer cult or brought into the gene stealer cult, the bigger the beacon gets, and then eventually the star children come.
Right.
And the cult will rise up, raise hell, so that there's no coordinated effort to stop the Tyranids from coming. And the fluff has changed a little bit. So back in the early days, after the planet was conquered and the Tyranids were there, the members of the gene stealer cult would voluntarily walk into the digestion pools to become one with the star children.
Okay.
But now they've added a little bit of existential horror. So the gene stealer cults are like, yes, the star children are here. We're ready. and then the horror of seeing their friends and family devoured with the heretics who they were fighting against as they are absorbed into the digestion pools and torn apart by worker swarms to be added to the great biomass of the hive.
That is so cool. Okay, so what is special about Wormblade?
The Wormblade allows you to take like the Sanctus, which is like an assassin, which is like a rogue assassin, and then you can take a sniper. Oop, there we go. And then like their Keller Morph gunslinger guy, he ends up being a underground hero for the gene stealer cults to kind of look up to. So they have their own Robin Hood who goes around and takes down the imperial, the imperial scum that are trying to stomp it out.
They become folk heroes.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
It really is one of the neat things about the new version of the gene stealer cult is it isn't like it used to be. We're ugly humans that have limousines and drive around in limousines. But one of the things about the current gene stealer cult is that it plays on the idea of a working class uprising. So like all the models for current gene stealer cult armies are they're miners. They're miners that are rising up. So all of their equipment is like stolen mining equipment. So that seismic cannon that
miners, not miners.
Yeah.
I was thinking children.
No.
I thought you were thinking children. Okay.
Yeah. So that seismic cannon is used to help make tunnels in the mines. And one of the other weapons is a mining laser, which can be used to like cut the ore out of things.
Sure, but also probably does incredibly horrific things to flesh when used as a weapon.
Totally.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looked like you've got kind of a blue and purple color scheme going on there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the traditional old school gene stealers from like second ed. And that was a midnight blue and purple that, It's old hammer. I like that scheme. Modern gene stealers don't always follow that. They've done a lot of pale colors now and like red and bone and things like that. But I miss the purple.
But I like that color scheme though. It sounds like it would be the color scheme worn by people devoted to space gods.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Just
so
midnight blue and dark purple. That just sounds like, I mean, you look at a nebula in space and you're going to see some of those color schemes too.
Yeah. And you know what? We'll add pictures here, but like,
yeah.
When I originally tried to come up with a color scheme for these guys, I bought a lot of paint when back in the day. I got the Mega Paint set. And so one of the colors that I had was like the turquoise color. And I was trying to find a way to use colors that I haven't used for a really long time. Because most of my armies are green or red and use some kind of like gray base. So I wanted to use something blue. So all of their clothes are kind of this turquoisey kind of like it looks like it should be a coverall or a jumpsuit. Mm-hmm. And that also tends to go really well with the purple and dark blue of the armorous chitin that goes along with their more gene stealery arms. Pardon me, I keep choking.
And it sounds, the purple too, that brings to mind the Heaven's Gate cult.
Not intentional, but I'll take it.
But I mean, similar in
totally.
Right?
I can't deny that.
I mean, they thought that, like their fiction was that, or their truth from their perspective was that the comet was coming, and the spaceship was hiding behind it, and they were going to go and join it, and they all end up dying, just like.
And instead, the aliens came, ate them, and that's how that worked. So yeah. Now I have not made as much progress as I hoped. So Renee and I are leaving the second to last week of June, and then we'll be down for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got to be done.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. In order to keep on that schedule.
Wait. Okay. You need to be done by like the 17th of June?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And to keep on that schedule, I had predicted that I need to finish one guy a night.
Okay.
I have not finished one guy a night. I got started really strong.
You did one guy one night, your first night.
I did. That first night.
It's in your video. I saw it.
Knocked it out.
All right.
But I've been working on Mr. Seismic Cannon every other night since then, which is to say, I have spent very few nights actually painting.
Oh.
Life showed up.
Yep, as it always does.
Yeah.
No kill team for old men.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm struggling. The nice thing is a majority, like 5 of these guys are troop choices. They are very easy to speed paint. I because this isn't one of my narrative armies, one of the ones that I've invested literal decades into coming up with stories for, I am giving myself a lot more grace as far as like, well, the weapons don't need to look like super profesh. I can try some things out here. And I've had some really good experiments with like the guns. I've got them mostly, they're kind of black, but they're also kind of scratched up. And all of the highlighting, instead of just doing a gray, I've been using bolt gun metal as the edge highlight. Mm-hmm. And since I'm not putting these in as any kind of award-winning models, then I don't do like chunky highlight, small highlight, blend it all in. No, these are game playing pieces. So it's color, highlight, there it goes.
Get 3 colors on the model and slap it on the table.
Right, exactly.
We did give ourselves unintentionally a very short deadline for this.
Yeah, but I think I can get ahead. I think I can get ahead. If I can get seismic cannon done today, which I'm pretty sure I will,
Okay.
then I can move on to the other ones that are in this. I've got two special weapons. I've got a flamer and a grenade launcher, and then everything else is like a shotgun or an auto gun. So should be able to burn those through fast. The only things that I'm worried about taking a lot of time are these three characters, because I do want them to kind of look cool.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we have definitely gone into my progress, but I think yours is probably more interesting because you straight up bought a box, have to build, have to paint. So what's your deal?
I have constructed all of the models. The Orc Commandos kill team is 10 models. One knob, which for those of us who are unfamiliar, the knob is the boss. They're like the squad leader.
Back in the Rogue Trader days and early second edition, it wasn't really Nob, it was Nob, because it was an orc noble.
Oh.
Yeah.
But was it spelled the same?
Exactly the same. But because of, like, is it a las gun or is it a lays gun? Popular usage eventually just turned it into a knob, especially because a knob is also a name for like an asshole.
Yeah, a knob is kind of a doof.
A dick, literally. So they just end up becoming knobs, but they started another way. Just like back in second edition, a bolt gun was also called a blaster. That didn't transfer. That didn't come out of after second edition. You never heard that again. So yeah.
Anyway. I think the only time I've ever seen that is with grots, because grots have a grot blasta. They don't get sluggas or shootas. They have to use the grot blasta. That's the only time I've ever seen that term used. So anyhow, if I can hold very carefully in front of the camera. I also have video that I took of all of the minis. So I'll put that in here too. But I've just really had a great time putting these together. Now, of course, the next step is to prime them all and start putting some paint on these. I went with the knob with the power claw.
Nice.
The big choppa is easier to hit with, but the power claw hits on a 3+, but it does 1 extra critical damage, and it also has the brutal special characteristic, which means that your opponent can only parry with a 6. So I feel like the chances of being able to do a lot of damage really fast with that weapon, I just couldn't pass that up. The kit allows you to build 9 commando boys.
Oh god, okay.
Or there's like a couple of commando boys and then one of all the different specialist classes. Why wouldn't you create all the different specialists, I guess, is my question. But I've got a bunch of orc boys already from my army. So I thought if I decide I want a bunch of boys, I'll just grab a bunch of those guys. But I've got a rocket boy and I've got the sniper boy.
I love that the sniper boy just has a big crosshair. That's what makes his gun a sniper gun, is that it's got a big crosshair.
There is a scope on it, but there's a giant iron sights crosshair at the end of the barrel. And it's this huge gun too. It looks like it's ridiculous, really. And it's got a belt of ammo coming out of it. So it's a ridiculous, very orky, very full of character. All of these models are. I mean, some of them have what look like scuba masks. The Grot Commando has 2 heads you can choose from. One of them is the little bandana mask, and then the one I chose he's got like scuba goggles and a snorkel. The backpack has a pair of flippers, what look like swimming flippers hanging off the back of them. So I'm like,
he's a SEAL.
He's a Navy SEAL. I've got to go with the snorkel for him. And he looks ridiculous, but I love it. It is so goofy. So goofy. It's just fantastic. All of these guys. The bomb squig with his like dynamite strapped to him. One of the dynamite packs has broken loose and the dynamite sticks are like flying off. I'll in the picture so you can see it, but there's just so much detail. It's incredible.
It's
These
been a
models.
long time since you've been in the hobby, and I got to imagine that it's just night and day from what you're used to from before.
Oh, sure. And so, yeah, certainly night and day from that very first Goff character that I painted, that I showed you all in what, episode 1 or 2. I mean, even the Burna Boy, he's got this giant oil can, or it's probably what's the Promethium? Mm-hmm. It's probably Promethium, this giant can of Promethium hanging off of on his backpack. The Slasher Boy, I absolutely love. I think I didn't expect this, but I think he might be one of my favorites. He's got 2 knives, one in each hand. He's got a knife in his mouth.
I was going to say, yeah.
There's one on his belt. I mean, this guy's just chock full of blades. Very dangerous. Do not sleep next to him.
He's a murderer.
I'm looking forward to painting them, but I'm also terribly overwhelmed and intimidated by the amount of detail that's on these miniatures, because even back in, I think 4th edition is the last set of orc models that I bought, and I thought even those were really detailed, and that's the majority of my army now is those that 4th edition strain of models. I think it's 4th edition. So
up until very recently, those were still the same models that were being used.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But what a leap in detail from even those, which I thought were fantastic. I still do. I think these will fit very nicely within an army of that set of models. But
yeah,
that's my progress so far. I haven't chosen a clan yet. I'm leaning toward possibly Blood Axes or Death Skulls. I think the 2 of those really seem to fit a commando squad the best. So that's my next task, is choose the clan so that I can start building the story of these guys. But then also, I don't know if I can do it tonight because the weather's starting to get a little cool, and I don't want to prime when it's cold.
You've got a definition of cold that's weird, right? Like, what are we talking about cold? Because I get up to like 50 degrees, and that's when I'm like, oh, finally I can prime.
Is that good prime weather? Okay, well, that's priming weather. I'll just go ahead and prime then.
Yeah, just keep them out of direct sunlight.
Okay, goals for next week. What do you got?
By next Saturday, when we do this meeting, I want to have all of the troops done and only have to worry about the last 3 characters. That's what I'm hoping to achieve.
In what will be for you the final week of painting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you have 2 more weeks?
Yeah.
Is that right? Wow,
yeah.
You've really done it to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, I do have a bit of a cheat since I have started these guys before we actually made the challenge. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, obviously I'm gonna have them all primed. I've got at least 3 weeks to go, and there's only 10. Here's what I have to do is I have to choose, because there's 12 models here. I can only have 10 in the kill team. So I have to make a choice of which ones, if I'm not going to get them all painted, which ones do I want to have painted so that I can use them? I feel like I want to say I need to have like at least 3 or 4 of these guys done.
Okay. Have you picked a color scheme yet?
Not at all. They're commandos though. So dark, or maybe even like, well, okay. So if I go with Blood Axes, they are very unorky in that they tend to use, I guess, what we would consider human tactics and uniform.
Right.
And I almost feel like because I gave the knob, there's 2 knob heads you can choose from. One of them's got a mask of some kind. The other one has like a sergeant's cap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one I went with. It's ridiculous. And it's very unorky to be wearing a cap. But But for me, I feel like this orc long ago killed some human Astra Militarum sergeant and stole his cap, and that's his trophy. That's kind of the story I'm kind of trying to create for this. And so that's kind of why I'm leaning toward blood axes.
Nice.
And, you know, they don't just run screaming into the fray like all other orcs do. They're, you know, they stand back and they plan a strategy and they sneak around, and that's not orky behavior.
We've got min-maxer players down in the comments right now going, no, you gotta pick Goffs or you gotta pick.
But it doesn't.
The
clan doesn't have. It does nothing to what the kill team can do. You don't get any different benefits or anything.
Yeah.
It's just your story,
right,
and your paint scheme. So whatever with that, it's fine. They can make comments all they want. That's their choice.
In fact, yes, please comment on this video to help with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you.
All right. Any closing remarks?
No. I'm very impressed with your build progress. That you got that done fast. It's so much fun to build these things, and so yeah. I'm excited to see what your first couple models actually look like. When
I had to run back to the store to get plastic glue because my super glue that I had in my decades old paint kit was solid as a rock, and so I had to I went with plastic glue because all these are plastics. And I was a little concerned because the plastic glue actually melts the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you put two pieces together, it merges them. They become one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was concerned that making a mistake would ruin things. And I almost did make a mistake with the bomb squig. I put two pieces together, just kind of a little off kilter, and so a third piece had to go on and it wouldn't fit because I was like, oh no, so I just kind of snap it back into place and then fix it real quick, and then if there's a seam, there's a little seam on his tail, I can probably just smooth that over with some green stuff, which I think I'm probably gonna have to get some more green stuff too, because the stuff I've got in my kit is probably dried out and not usable now, but we'll see.
You know, the green stuff has a shockingly long shelf life. It's worth seeing if you can make it work. Yeah.
Actually spent time this time drilling out my barrels. I never used to do that. I just painted a little black circle back in the day. I just painted a little black circle, but this time there were maybe 2 or 3 of the weapons that just had a flat surface on the barrel. So I actually took a pin, screwed those out. So there's actually a barrel on there now. So it's yeah, again, very impressed with the detail on these things. Gonna have a fun time painting. All right. If that's it for you.
Yeah. I'm just super stoked.
Got nothing else.
I'm excited. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Then I will catch you in 1 week.
1 week. And ideally my weekly mid video for later in the week, ideally the setup that I've got for capturing me painting will work, and we'll be able to see some progress.
And be in focus.
Painting something and be in focus.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, friends and viewers, if you are putting together a kill team, I would love to know what you've got, and go ahead and put a comment below and let us know what you're working on.
Or if you've got a strong opinion about what clan Dan should be selecting,
I don't need opinions.
I definitely want that opinion. In fact, we're probably going to put a poll on the Instagram. So if you're not already, please follow No Games for Old Men on Instagram, and take a look for that poll, which we will definitely be putting up, and there will be a right answer. So
wow, very okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next Saturday, stay vigilant. Thanks for watching.
No games.